So now, Gilberto Herrera, where are you coming out of at the moment?
I'm in Birmingham, Alabama right now in the United States.
Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, the king of increase.
Yes, sir. That's not a name I gave myself, by the way.
It's not something you said. This was given to you by the people you've worked with and interacted with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I try not to call myself the king of anything, but when I approach any situation, whether it would be business or personal, whether I'm working with a nonprofit or Fortune 500 company or just an individual, my goal is to always see how I can help them either increase, the brand, that they're working with, or to increase their net worth. Because as you know, man, if you increase your reach, that in turn, that alone, will help you, drive more awareness to your company. And when you get more awareness, that brings more opportunity. And of course, if you increase your net worth, that helps you sleep better at night.
Absolutely, man. You're able to sleep better at night knowing that arguably the most important aspect of the day-to-day is taking care of.
Absolutely. Taking care of you and those around you, right?
Man, that's it. That's all it's about. He goes by the name of Gilberto Herrera. He did not give himself this title. This has been given to him by the people he's worked with. He's the king of increase. How you doing, Gilberto?
Man, I'm well. It's a pleasure to be here with you, my brother. How are you?
Man, I'm living good. I'm living the dream. It's a great pleasure to have you today.
Hey, man, couldn't think of a better way to end my day but with you guys. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, likewise. We got a lot of guests today, but we're really excited for you. Let's talk about increase, Gilberto. The king of increases. People gave you this name for a reason. Let's talk about why increasing is important.
Well, prior to, me being an entrepreneur and working, in the business world and starting anything of my own, man, I've always been a person that no matter what I had, I could be the brokest person in the room, but I'm gonna still try to figure out a way to help you elevate, so that mentality just carried over from day to day personal life to, business.
And break your back for people. You do everything to take care of the job that needs to get done.
Absolutely. There's people that come to me, in their business and they start out charging $25 an hour. When I help them restructure it, they're making more money than they can ever imagine. There's families that sit down with my team, and we help them take exactly what they're doing, just restructure it a different way. And in turn, we help them save money and make money.
Absolutely.
As you know, man, over 50-60% of Americans, they get anxiety just thinking about finances. So, we try to curb that anxiety with what we do.
Absolutely. I heard this crazy statistic that I couldn't believe it, but they said, more couples get through things like cheating than they do with financial struggles, meaning, they get through things like that more than they do with the financial. The financial is not always that seems to be the one we can't really get through. So that's the one we got to cover.
Absolutely, man. The leading cause of divorces these days is, financial burden.
Yep.
Now, how do we define that? That's up to the couple, but, it's documented that it's because of finances.
Absolutely. Now, each client granted, Gilberto, right? Everybody's working with something different, and it's not tailor-made, meaning it's not made the same way for everybody else. It's not a cookie cutter approach. You got to approach everybody's budget, everybody's situation, what they're working with. Can we talk a little bit about what you say to a client when they approach you? Let's say they got a brand, and let's go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, you can't be all things to all people. So I'm gonna be honest with you. There's people that don't see value in what I do simply because of my price. But that just means that they're not at the level of the type of client that I like to work with. You see what I'm saying? That's on the business side. On the financial side, everyone's retirement and financial goals are different. So we give everyone that comes through our doors a financial needs analysis, and that's a tool that we give away. It's a $1,500 tool. We give it away for free. And that basically tells you, hey, you're here. You want to get here. This is what you need to do. These are some of your vehicles. These are some of the things that you need to put in place in order to have exactly what you want to have. Um, so but it all starts, like you said, with a consultation. I really want to get to know what their goals are, what their vision, their mission is, but more importantly, why those goals are important. A lot of people will come to me and say, hey, I want to make $1 million. And I'm like, okay, why is that important? Well, because I want to be rich. But why you want to be rich? And then when you start drilling down and really drilling down, and you get them to start talking about some things they probably never even thought of, but they've been buried underneath, then they start to really, look at life a little bit. Absolutely.
Makes that map a little more clear.
Absolutely. And most people, even if they have goals, how many of us, are really trying to get them to really be definite? Because at the end of the day, money is just a tool to get you what you want. We all want some type of level of freedom at the end of the day. Freedom from our job, freedom to live the life we want, freedom to do the things that we want. You just got to tell me how you want to do that. And we help you get there, whether you're a business owner or you bring your family to my company and you want to take your finances to another level.
It's very interesting to hear that you make it very specific for them once they start to explain not only why they want $1 million, but why do you want the $1 million? What do you want to do? Is it the getaway? Is it the vacation and you've been putting off for too long and now you got to make it happen? Is it you want to buy that house? It's things of this nature that once you specify it for people, once they get it drilled into their minds, it really does get more clear and they're able to just keep that momentum going, because a lot of this game is just that momentum being pushed forward constantly, right? It's that loss of momentum and rebuilding momentum, especially with money, right? I mean, if you got bad spending habits, even if you're making more, those bad spending habits get real heavy, because then it just gets more expensive. These things you're getting, you gotta instill these things from the beginning.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about the money. Some people come to me and they don't even know, they're not even really clear on who their target audience is. So how can we reach the person you want to talk to if you don't even know them really well? It's like trying to date someone and you have no idea why they would be attracted to you, or how to speak to them, or what's important to them. More importantly, what's not important to them. So those are all vital things when I start consulting with anyone, because at the end of the day, there's got to be a win-win-win situation. You have to win. I have to win because my name is tied to this. But more importantly, the person you're trying to do a service to, they definitely have to win because they're in the center of all of this. Without them, there is no them.
Right. It's got to be a difficult thing for you to convince your clients when you talk to them that this is something worth investing into, right? Because this is something worth investing into by every word of the definition, but it's so new and people are jumping onto the internet and social media and having to utilize these things, use Facebook ads, find their audience, and you really need a team, a proper team, a professional team to help you guide through that, because all these big brands are already doing that. They already got these mechanics operating behind them. So you want to find a trustworthy team that'll get you to where you want to get to.
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily so much that it's kind of tough convincing them. Again, I know who my target audience is. So the question is never, a money issue with them. It's usually why you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when you have a system in place and you've done it for a while, all the objections that you hear are going to be common. So you're prepared to hear those objections and you know how to respond to them. But more importantly, I try to show my prospects, hey, what's it costing you not to take action on the things that you say you want to do?
Right, there you go. That's what I when I was saying it must be difficult. I was just going to say, I wanted to hear you say it's difficult, but it just makes it more exciting to convince them because, like you said, you go ahead from there.
And again, I'm not there to convince you. I'm there to see that I understand where you want to go. I'm clear on what you want to do. And together we can get you there. So at the end of the day, it's never about me or my company or my team. It's all about you, you know? And I'm not going to force you to do what's best for you. You see what I'm saying? And more, same thing with my financial company. I teach my reps, hey, listen, you can't force anybody to do what's right for them and their home. Now, you can give them the information. You can show them what you have to, going on. We can follow up, until their first face turns blue. But ultimately, they have to want to be responsible, and take control of their life.
Can we talk a little bit about what the course of timelines these events look like when you partner with a client? Is it a 3 month? Is it a 6 month? Is it a 1 year? Is it change? Is it different packages? Can you walk me through a little bit of that?
So 6 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and then a year. And of course, it's all contingent upon how long that client wants to work with me. The average person comes in, and we work with them for about 6 weeks. We give them, all the tools they need to be successful, and they feel like they can implement it once they have the information. We help them structure their brand. We help them go out and prospect. We help them, put a sales process in place. We help them, we show them how to properly and effectively, do consultations or what we call enrollment calls. We help them put a follow-up process in place. We help them, reach, their demographic, by way of, Facebook, Instagram, just, marketing ads. We even have some that market on LinkedIn. We help them dial all that in. If they want, we don't run it for them, but we give them the strategy on how to do it. If you want to build funnels, we have a team that does that as well.
You got it all. You got it. Just about everything they would want.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say everything, but I would say that we have, what it takes for them to effectively go to market and grow and get a direct response once they understand their client and their message is fine-tuned properly and they have the right audience.
I now see where the king of increase is coming from, Gilberto. I see it as you're speaking to me, man. You that's awesome, man. That's real cool. So now what are these results? These results, granted, can differentiate, right, with the responses with the audiences. That's got to be real interesting. This formula you've created, it's really awesome because this is a social media, such a new thing, but at the same time, it's all brand awareness. It's about knowing your clients. It's all the same thing. And you've got your formula, and you introduce it to your clients. And like you said, normally you give them 6 weeks, and you show them the tools, you give them the tools, and then they're able to normally carry on from there. If they need more time, you go from there. But it's about showing them this tried and true formula that you've created.
Absolutely. So, I treat them just like a great employer would treat their best employees, right? You give them all the tools that they need so that they can leave you, but you treat them so well that they don't want to leave you.
Oh,
that's my formula.
That's the formula. Boom, very nice.
Because the ads, right? The ads and the branding, they get you the attention. But how you treat someone is really what determines the retention.
Right. The retention is what you need and what you're really looking for.
Absolutely. Can we get this customer to see this thing through, to the point where they, can act on their vision and their mission.
Right. It's similar to dating, right? Why would you waste your time just leading someone on if you don't have some sort of plan of execution? That's really what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Very nice. Very, 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 very well said. All right, you guys, coming up after a commercial break, we're going to talk to Gilberto Herrera some more about increases and much more. Let's get a little bit of background, man, on you. Where did you study and how did you learn this stuff?
All right, so I was born in Panama, the country. My grandmother and I moved to the United States when I was 7 years old. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My life took a turn there because I was definitely not on a path for success as it relates to anything business related or anything positive. I was in gangs. I sold drugs. You know, when I was in high school, I was on a path, to not even graduate in high school. Well, my
Right.
family decided, hey, it's time to slow him down. So they moved me to Alabama when I was in high school. And
Good
at
move.
that definitely a good move. Of course, as a child, I didn't recognize that move.
Hmm.
But I became a father at 17. So, of course, my life wasn't about me anymore. And I believe that's when the change started because I wasn't living for myself anymore. I was living for someone else. Um, my first my first job, of course, I didn't go the traditional route. I didn't go to college right out of high school because of one, I was a father, so I had someone else to feed, and two, when I came to this country, I was not. I came on a visiting visa with my grandmother. Well, we were supposed to leave the country, but we never left. So when I started trying to go out into the real world, they started asking me for something called a social security number. I had no idea what that was. When I figured out what it was, I realized I didn't have one. So that limited me on the things that I could do,
Hmm.
as it relates to going and work and going to college. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but you know what? It ended up being a benefit to me because I had to get creative and really learn what it takes to get it on my own. Um,
Necessity is the mother of all creation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anyway, fast forward, most of my experience at when I did get a chance to get to corporate America was in sales. So I was a banker. I did B2B sales, retail sales, inside sales, outside sales, you know, over the phone sales where I was literally cold calling a list. I'd never seen this person or company, but my goal was to get a sale with them before I got off the phone. If you ever go to Walmart or Best Buy and you see the people that sell you the knives or the direct TV that they have a table set up, I was one of those guys, made it pretty far into one of
Wow.
those companies. So sales is my background. Um, but what really clicked for me was when I got a sales job at a marketing company. Once I learned that yes, I can get so far with sales and knocking on doors and cold calling and following up. But once I learned marketing and I realized I can reach my demographic through the masses. More importantly, direct response marketing. I'm not talking about just your Google ads or running a commercial or your billboards. I'm talking about when you create something, it's going to make that person want to call you or give up something to get to you. So if you guys are paying attention, I would urge you to learn direct response marketing. More importantly, if you don't have the skill set, hire someone that has a skill set. Learn copywriting. Learn how to properly write marketing copy because that's going to speak directly to your customer. And those that take the time to read what you say will eventually go down the path to where they want to call you or give up their email or schedule a consultation with you. So I said all that to say, once I learned marketing, I learned direct response marketing. So I'm a real estate investor first, also. And one of the things that we do and what worked really well for us is we would send out postcards to absentee owners. It's a strategy that's known in the industry where you may own a house, but you don't live in that house. It's not your primary address. We would send you a postcard as it relates to that to make you want to call me. And we got so many deals off of that. So I'm like, okay, how can I apply that to other businesses? And once I really dialed in and I learned copywriting and I learned direct response, and that really took my business to another level. So I was like, okay, let me show some other people. Let me see if I can show others how to do this. Because when you hear the term marketing or advertising, many things come to mind. You know, And
Yeah.
I was one of those guys that I thought everything had to be perfect before you had to go to market. But then I realized you can build a plane while you fly it. And I tell all my clients now, if it doesn't pay, not today. You know, so if you're gonna do a marketing campaign and you can't track your revenue dollars from that campaign, and it's just an awareness campaign where this company says, hey, I showed your ad to 100 million people. Yeah, but what's my click through rate? And out of those that clicked through it, how many went to my website? And out of those that went to my website, how many actually bought something? If I can't track that, then it doesn't make sense for me to do it. I hope I didn't get too technical on you, but I
No,
settled
I'm
that.
I'm following you all the way. I hope our audience is, but you're not. I mean, you keep going. I hope you don't think you're rambling. You're
Nah,
speaking gold, man. You're going. You're on something here. So as long as our audience understands, I'm sure they will.
yeah,
This is good stuff.
yeah. So if you have a business right now, learn direct response marketing. Focus on that, and then you can start allowing that to pay for the pretty branding, and you can invest in other areas of your business, because direct response marketing is gonna, if it's done properly, it'll get that registered cha-chinging, and in a way that you probably would have never thought. So that was a little bit about me and why I do what I do on the business side. On the financial side, man, as you know, coming from middle America, you know, money is that thing that you get, but it doesn't come with an instruction manual. So how many people probably are high earners but are still living paycheck to paycheck?
Mm.
So it's a mindset. I know where I come from, money wasn't even talked about in our household. And then there's so many lies that are passed down to us, that we're conditioned to believe as we start growing. For instance, you go to school, you know, all all your younger years, right? How many people when they were kids, they probably were great artists. They can draw, they can sing, they can paint, they can do many great things artistically. But as they got older, they lost that passion.
All of them,
You
everybody. You
know
hear it from everybody.
why? Because you got conditioned to sit down and take orders all the time. And when you got home, your parents or your guardian would say, "Hey, you got to do your homework." And oftentimes, you don't have time to do anything else. When you were a kid, you made time for it, but as you got older and you start thinking about life, you start thinking about making money. You probably thinking, "Man, this ain't gonna make me no money." So you lose that creativity, right?
Right. A lot of it was just kind of conditioning you to kind of lay low, do the bare minimum, and then lay low, and then it's not
But
really.
you're being conditioned to take orders. You sit down for 8 hours a day listening to something you have no interest in a classroom. Then, as you're getting through that, then they tell you, "Oh, now you got to go to college." Well, guess what? Most of us didn't have the luxury of getting a scholarship, right?
Mm.
So when you go to college, how many 18-year-olds really know exactly what they want their life to be when they turn 30?
Maybe like
Not,
less than half. Less than half, I'd say.
not many. So oftentimes you go to school for something that you probably aren't passionate in. I know doctors right now who hate what they do, and they are high earners, but they hate their job.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you get conditioned to do what society tells you to do. So you come out of school with debt, 40, 50, $100,000 worth of debt already, right? They won't give you a loan to start a business.
Mm-mm.
They won't give you a loan to get a house or anything right out of college, but they'll give you a loan to go to college. You see what I'm saying? And then 6 months later, they're calling you, no matter what the circumstances are, saying, "Hey, we want our money."
Yeah.
So then you take it a step further. What's the American dream? You go to school, then you get a job, right?
Get
Then you
married,
go
have
buy the,
kids.
yeah, then you go buy the house. Remember, you got to buy the house.
Right. True.
That's a
Yeah.
part of the American
Yep.
dream, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, buy the house.
Right.
You gotta get the house. Let's get down, man. You gotta get the house.
You got to get the house. But as it relates to housing, you ever thought about the fact that you can pay off $100,000 car in 7 years, but it takes you 30 years to pay off $100,000 house? Why is that?
The eyes aren't on the prize.
Right. So, do you know what the word mortgage means? Like the literal definition of the word mortgage?
Mm-mm.
MORT means death. So if you look up the definition of the word mortgage, it literally means that you're taking a pledge to die. It derives from a French word that means death contract. Wow. So if you look at a mortgage, the first probably 10, 15, 20 years of a mortgage, you're paying nothing but interest. The average person moves within the first 12 years, and you can look all this up. The average person moves within the first 12 years of them getting a home, right? Most people don't keep their home past that time frame on average. So the bank is going to get all their money on the front end. That's the reason why it takes you 30 years. It's not because, and I always tell my people, look at how much you're paying over 30 years. Don't look at your monthly payment. Don't look at your interest rate. If you do your monthly mortgage payment times 12, you get how much you pay annually. And if you do that times 30, I guarantee you're paying almost double or triple for that house over 30 years. But again, that's the American dream. You want me to tell you why they call it the American dream? When you dream, you have to be asleep, right? So, those are the things that keep you conditioned. If I took that, let's say if I got $100,000 house right now, right? I had to put down 20% now. It's what $20,000. What if you took that 20,000 and invested it in yourself or in a business or a high income skill or some sort, and then you put yourself in a position to where you can have the leverage when you go in the bank and you can get what you want. But that's not what we're taught.
No.
So, and who suffers the most? Middle America, right? People like me and you, people like our parents and our grandparents and our aunts, cousins, and friends, because they don't take time to really learn this stuff. So my goal is to just put as much information out to families so that they have the information to make wiser financial decisions as a whole. There's so many lies that we're told, but because of predatory marketing, we believe them because, of course, the more you hear something, the more it starts to become real, especially if it's endorsed by your favorite celebrity or endorsed by, a huge company, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The reason we eat bacon and eggs for breakfast is because someone started marketing the fact that, that's the biggest meal of the day. And that saved a lot of industries. It was strictly done to save some industries. I want to save the chicken industry and a couple of other industries. They bring in a whole other. They brought in that whole extra meal to the routine. Right. So it's one of those things, man, where we are conditioned to believe certain things, and we don't take the time to look for it.
You're godsend, man. You're godsend, Gilberto, because people need to know these things. People need to hear these things. And, you're sold the dream, but you got to know that map that you're taking that journey on, that road to.
Yeah. And I get, of course, everyone that hears this or isn't really receptive to it, especially if you're a realtor or you have your hand in the mortgage transaction, so, I get a little flack from it. But at the end of the day, if that's what it's going to take for me to get the information out to the public, then so be it. I'll be the bad guy all day long. But at the end of the day, I sit there and I research this stuff, and I see how many families get destroyed when recessions and pandemics happen and they lose their job and they can't make the mortgage payment or they can't pay their bills, or, that mortgage payment is over 50% of what they bring in, because we want to believe that if we have the house that we want, we made it. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, you get it dangled right in front of you, and then you grab right onto it. no matter
Yeah,
what.
and I'm not against home ownership. I am just saying, hey, put yourself in a position where when you go attain some of those things, you have the leverage. That's all I'm saying. And understand how these vehicles work because oftentimes they're not in your favor.
I really hope that the audience listening to this is able to receive it and take it in because this is stuff that people need to hear, Gilberto. I think that you could even start a channel or something, you know, man. This is stuff that, I mean, if I could
But
have you on as often as I'd like to talk about this stuff, it'd be good, but
it's coming. It's
it's
coming. You know,
right.
because I'm so big in direct response, I can literally send out an email right now and reach a certain amount of people and know exactly what type of response I'm gonna get and get the outcome that I want. So I never really focused on me personally, my personal brand. I never really focused until recently on awareness for myself. You know, because I run ads on Facebook, I run ads on Instagram, I run ads on LinkedIn, and they're very direct. They only reach a certain type of audience, and I send them down a path until they get to me. And if you went through that path, then you really wanted to get to me, and those are the people that I want to talk to.
Well said. Well said. Very interesting. Gilberto, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. Let's get you back on it again in the future if we can. And like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, it's the pleasure's all mine. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing, and you know your shows are very diverse and interesting. Anything I can do to help you all in the future, now, you know, ever, you know, you have my contact info. So look forward to seeing the growth and you know, looking forward to seeing what you guys are gonna do as well because you guys bring massive value to the people. You know, from entertainment, you know, to business, to everything, you guys have it. And, you know, this, I feel like this is going to be one of the channels to look for.
I really appreciate that, Gilberto. Those very nice words you said right there. How can we find you on social media?
So just look me up by my name, Gilberto, Gilberto, and my last name, Herrera, Herrera. If you look me up by that, I should come up pretty quickly, you know, on all social medias. My website is also my name, GilbertoHerrera.com. You know, let's see what else. You know, you can text me. You know, I send out, you know, I share information just like I'm sharing on this podcast. I share information like that daily with my private community. And that number is 205-654-1744. Again, that number is 205-654-1744. And, you know, just add yourself to my community and be, you know, you'll receive some from inspirational content to business content to financial content. I even give away things to my private community, send personal messages that won't ever make it to social media or anywhere else. So, you know, I try to give as much value as I can. I always lead with value.
Check them out, you guys. Gilberto Herrera, coming out of Birmingham, Alabama. It's been a real inspiration to hear your words today.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to connecting with you guys further.
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you.